Welcome to Morganable, where we serve you with authentic news. Morganable, your vehicle of enlightenment.
The Nigerian Police Force has said the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, did not issue a shoot-on-sight order against people carrying illegal firearms in Benue State. The force said the IGP's remarks were misinterpreted, urging the public to watch the full video of the IGP's remarks for the correct context. The force added that illegal possession of firearms and unlawful killings will not be tolerated, explaining that he was referring to Force Order 237, which governs the illegal use of firearms by police officers. The police said officers have been trained on the rules of engagement and know when they are illegally or legally permitted to use the firearms without waiting for further orders. Meanwhile, lawyers for Niger's deposed president, Mohamed Bazoum, have demanded for his immediate release 3 years after he was overthrown in a military coup. The 66-year-old has been held with his wife, Hadiza, at the presidential palace in Niamey since July 2023. His legal team, led by United States human rights lawyer Reed Brody, said the couple is being arbitrarily detained without formal charges despite accusations of treason by junta leader General Abdurrahman Tiani. Meanwhile, United States former President Joe Biden has dropped his lawsuit attempting to block the release of audio recordings and transcripts from his 2017 memo interviews. Biden's legal team filed a notice of voluntary dismissal after a 2-1 federal appeals court panel ruled that a substantial public interest outweighs his privacy concerns. The material, which was captured during interviews with his memo ghostwriter, surfaced during Special Counsel Robert Hur's classified documents investigation. The ruling paves the way for the release of the recordings of Republican-led Congressional Committee. The decision halts further appeals to the Supreme Court. In a separate development, India's Education Minister, Dharmendra Pradhan, has resigned following weeks of nationwide youth protest over alleged examination paper leaks. The protest, which began in June, intensified this week after police clashed with demonstrators in New Delhi. In a statement, Pradhan said he stepped down to prevent what he described as anti-national forces from taking advantage of the situation, adding that he respects the aspirations of the country's youth. In Nigeria, the Department of State Services says it will appeal the life imprisonment sentences handed to 3 convicted members of the Ansaru terrorist group over the abduction of school children and teachers in Orire community, Oyo State. This comes after a federal high court in Abuja sentenced Abdulrazak Umar, Yunusa Musa, and Shamsu Sani to life imprisonment after they pleaded guilty to terrorism-related offenses, including counseling information about the attack and supporting terrorist activities. Reacting, the DSS said the sentence does not reflect the gravity of the offenses, noting that 2 teachers were killed during the attack. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has affirmed the June 18 judgment of the Court of Appeal, which upheld the nomination of Governor Biodun Yebanji of Ekiti State as a candidate of the All Progressive Congress on the June 20 governorship election in an unanimous judgment. A 5-member panel of the Apex Court held that the appeal filed by APC governorship aspirant Abimbola Olawumi lacked merit. The court dismissed the suit, ruling that the relief sought could not be granted. Olawumi had challenged the process leading to Yebanji's nomination, alleging she was prevented from participating in the party's primary election. Away from that, the Independent National Electoral Commission has renewed its calls for financial autonomy, saying it is essential to guarantee free, fair and credible elections in 2027. Speaking in Abuja, INEC chairman, Professor Joash Amupito, wanted that dependence on the normal budgetary process weakens the Commission's operational independence. He stressed that credible elections require the collective efforts of political parties, security agencies, the media, civil society organizations and Nigerians, and not INEC alone. Amukpito also said existing constitutional safeguards for appointing INEC leadership are adequate, adding that the greater challenge lies in faithfully implementing current laws. In the meantime, a South African court has suspended impeachment proceedings against President Cyril Ramaphosa over the alleged theft of $580,000 from his Falafala ranch. The Western Cape High Court ruled that Parliament must halt the process pending the outcome of Ramaphosa's legal challenge to a 2022 report. Ramaphosa maintains that the money came from the sale of buffaloes and says the theft was reported to the police. On entertainment, American musician Diddy has reportedly been placed in solitary confinement following a fight with another inmate at the Federal Correctional Institution in Fort Dix. Reports say the altercation began after another inmate made a remark to Combs, leading to a confrontation. On sports, the Court of Arbitration for Sport has fixed October 8 for the hearing of Senegal's appeal against the Confederation of African Football over the outcome of the 2025 African Cup of Nations final. Senegal is challenging CAF's decision to award Morocco the title after ruling that the Teranga Lions forfeited the finals. Finally, the International Olympic Committee has rejected a complaint by human rights organization Foursquare against FIFA President Gianni Infantino over alleged breaches of political neutrality. The IOC said the matter falls outside the jurisdiction of its Ethics Commission because internal sports federations operate independently. And that's the news from Morganable. Thanks for listening. I am Blessing Ogundola.
Thanks for watching us today and for joining us on our journey of enlightenment. Morganable, the vehicle of enlightenment.